What's going on? It's Justeeni here, and today I've got some more Philo Rush for the content, but this time it's on lakes, which I've never done before. I'm gonna kind of show you how this works. Disclaimer, it's not always a good idea to Philo Rush on lakes. The way that you should be able to tell if you should Philo Rush on lakes or not is if your resources are good or not. In this first example, I just do Philo Rush anyway because I'm just built like that. But you'll kind of see how these games go and how Philo Rush can be useful on lakes. But let's just get right into things. So I find a village. You can see this is why Philo Rush isn't good here. My resources just aren't that good. With something like Empress or Zabasi, it's going to be more consistent. You're more likely to get the resources you need in your second city. But yeah, I just go for it anyway. Turn 3. Meditation, and I just decide, yeah, I'm gonna expand slower so I can still get org and then Philo precap. And it's a little slow, but here's the thing. You can kind of see this spawn. Now, if I were playing normally, the spawn would suck. This is normally what you call getting laked, which happens in lakes maps. Now, normally when you get laked, it's really, really bad and you kind of just lose the game because you have fewer cities than the opponent and you can't easily attack them, so they just have a city advantage and then they just win because they have more cities. But with Philo Rush, it kind of makes it a little harder for the opponent to win. I wouldn't say necessarily I am winning here or advantaged at all. I'm still laked at the end of the day, but it's a lot harder for the opponent to really make a convincing argument that they can win the game here. And that's the idea of Philo Rush on lakes. Is, yeah, my spawn's bad, but I'm using Philo Rush to kind of complicate things. Instead of just the opponent is simply better, well, I can start to do some things. And I get mining here, not forestry, mining, because I can actually go smithery. I have some really nice level 3 forge spots and some level 2s. And then, yeah, I can actually get markets off of that, but mostly just a ton of giants. So I'm going to keep developing. And yeah, I've got a vet sword and a warrior here, so I can try to steal their city, which is pretty neat. And yeah, I'm going to be very close to getting a giant on turn 10 with Philo Rush. I get another vet sword. I can't siege them because they smartly didn't train a warrior. But now I get smithery. I'm getting the giants rolling. I get the Park of Fortune here so I can border growth my capital. I need to border growth my capital first, then this city to get the forge placements right. Very important. I'm willing to delay things just to get the right placement in the long term. Now I get forestry, chop for that forge spot. Get another giant. And I'm close to yet another giant. And I'm just going to attack this one city like crazy. So I'm going to be on 5 cities on a normal lakes map, which means the opponent has a lot to work with. But once again, I do have Philo and I'm going to get markets pretty quickly. And I've got a ton of giants. And I'm saying, like, yeah, the opponent probably has an advantage here, but again, how do you win? They have catapults, so they have math, a little bit scary. Catapult right there. I can pressure it though. I get riding, roads, getting ready to get trade. I find a village here. I'm actually going to be on 6 cities, which is actually really nice. That means I can get Grand Bazaar potentially. I get a Mindbender for a few reasons. This isn't just for the memes. It's actually to heal my giants. They have catapults. Those catapults kind of hurt my giants. If I get a Mindbender, I can heal the giants. If the giant heals and a Mindbender heals, that's 8 healing. Catapult deals 9 damage. So yes, the catapult still will damage it over time, but instead of 5 HP a turn, essentially, it's only 1 HP a turn. If I have 2 Mindbenders, it just undoes all the damage, which is really awesome. So it's going to allow my giants to survive for a lot longer. And now I get trade, and I'm using these really good forge spots, and I also place a market here. And I've got some really nice planes because I'm not just going to use smithery. I'm also going to use math and use sawmills and forges to upgrade my markets. And now you're going to see This is the power. This is something you can't do with any other strategy. Normally, if you're just rushing markets normally, you either get mediocre markets off of math or mediocre markets off of smithery. But I can do both. I have philosophy. My techs are cheap. I can do both in very quick succession. And that's what I'm doing here. And I can see, again, I am laked. They have the middle of the map, likely some cities there. But I've got my markets, and they're pretty juicy. Like, here's a level 8, here's a level 6, and we can kind of look like, I'm going to place the sawmill here. This is actually going to be a level 8. I can go forge, sawmill, market. That's a level 4. I can even like sawmill here, it's a level 6. I can market, sawmill. I don't actually do these exact placements. I mess up one of them. But for the most part, I get some pretty solid markets. With only 6 cities, I have 47 star per turn. It is a little slow, turn 15, but again, that's a lot of economy for so few cities, which also means my tech prices are dirt cheap. Chivalry, 15 stars. And then any tier 2 tech, that's 11. And it's going to be that way for basically the rest of the game. As soon as I win a city back, I am winning. But if the opponent defends really well, then yeah, I'm kind of just screwed. But this is not an easy position to defend by any means. But it's also not easy to attack, so I still have to play quite well here. I go for the chivalry, I see catapults. Me wants to take out catapults and continue to develop. Now with 59 star per turn, almost 10 stars per turn per city. My giant just gets wiped out. They hit my mindbender, kind of rude, but they forget to move their giant like this, which would have defended everything. They kind of leave themselves open, which yes, they made a mistake, how terrible, but that's kind of the point, is they have to play really, really well to prove that they're winning here. Like, I'd be willing to say, yes, they have the advantage. It's just really, really hard to actually prove it in a practical sense. Because you can't make any mistakes. Like, they have this market. They already have market set up. That's why they have an advantage. But it's by no means easy to win here. So now I've got fishing. I'm getting on the water. And again, what I love to do with Villa Rush is don't just attack from one point. Attack from as many angles as you can. You have so much economy. And if they have to spread their resources on defense, it becomes harder to defend. They have to spend a lot more in a lot more areas compared to just being able to condense their defenses to one spot. I can afford to attack in multiple areas. They might not be able to afford to defend in multiple areas. It's much more difficult. More markets. And now I've got even more economy, 64 star per turn. My economy is just climbing. And they're trying to hold on, but again, it's not easy. They can hold on. They can stop me from getting a city. But again, slight oversight. They forgot I could do a giant push, and I steal one of their giants just like that. Very big swing in tempo. And from this point, that might just be decisive because I gain a strong foothold here. Like, I gain a giant, they lose a giant off of that. I have so many super units. And yes, they've got a lot of catapults, so again, they hold on, but it's getting harder and harder. They're getting their markets set up, but those aren't going to have a return on investment right away, which means they're pretty vulnerable. They're getting splashed and attacked, and I've got a mindbender here, so I can start to send my injured juggernauts, or giants in general, back here to heal, so I can keep reusing my giants over and over again, so I just don't run out of steam, because if I run out of giants, I run out of attack options, I lose the game. I need to keep some giants alive, and I need to kill their giants, so then they lose some defensive resources. And these mindbenders actually help so much with that. Gotta love mindbenders. And again, they're hanging on, they're killing some of my giants, but I've killed more of their giants. And I'm gonna kill even more. Like, they're doing a pretty solid job defending here, I will say. Like, obviously not perfect, they've made some mistakes. but they've got some pretty decent setups that make things non-trivial for me. But I'm dominating the water now, and they might not be able to do anything about it. Once I set up some bombers, get some cloaks going, that's it. And I would say I'm just winning here now because, well, what can they do about me getting bombers and cloaks in the water? I'm just going to do it. I'm going to win the game. So now they have to prove that I don't have an advantage here, which, well, unfortunately, it's kind of like I have to mess up for that to be the case. And I'm not going to mess this up. I've had a lot of experience in these Philo Rush late games. I know what to do from this point. And I'm just going to kind of laser focus on that win. And you can see, I believe this can be chained, if I'm not mistaken. Because this knight can go a nice 1, 2, 3. I have to take out both these giants to do it, but that is doable. I wanted to take them out anyway. And again, I've been on 6 cities this entire time. They've been up. You'll see how many cities later. But quite a few cities. That's their capital. Really, really developed capital. Like, it's not like... I mean, my markets might be better enough that I'm actually up in economy despite the city disadvantage, but I just have this disgusting foothold in position. 2 Mindbenders again, I can reuse my units, and I still haven't even gotten diplomacy yet. I haven't even really converted things. I've just been breaking through their giants and breaking that defense down. They get cloaks, actually, very surprising, because, well, they're not attacking. They don't have the initiative here. I am just going to attack like crazy. Their cloaks are not going to help them on defense. Little miscalculation there. Can't quite kill the giant, which would have been nice. I could have chained to their city, but slight missed opportunity. I've got bombers in the water. Yes, they can be hit a little bit, but then I just bring my Mindbender and heal them. So I don't care about a little chip damage that they can do because, well, it's not gonna deal with their problems by just chipping away like this. They pop a giant here, unsiege, delaying for just a little bit longer, but I'm just gonna re-siege again and they're not gonna be able to unsiege once more. Bam. Juggernaut comes in. Siege the capital. More bomber hits. More healing. More bombers. Another bomber hit. More healing. And it's a quadruple siege. They can unsiege a decent amount of this, but something's got to give. And as soon as one city falls, like, it just kind of continues the momentum. I've been building momentum with this attack this entire time. And as soon as one city falls, the rest quickly follow. And they're just out of units. They cannot hang on. Spiritualism, diplomacy, there it is. Spiritualism just to plant trees to further enhance things and to defend against knights. I was expecting them to get knights at some point, but they never did. And yeah, I still have plenty of super units alive as well, thanks to the Mindbenders. All the way to turn 26, with just 6 cities working with what I had. And now, at this point, this is just... I capture their capital. But if we look at this situation, I want to show you this. Just... So, the way the cities ended up getting divided up is kind of like this. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 to my 6. And they've got nice control over the middle of the map, nice naval access. This city's really far away, it's a weak spot for me. But I'm the one that was pressing forward the entire game and making progress. And if I wasn't going Philo Rush, I'd be willing to say I probably would just be screwed here. Like, I'm just down in cities, and that's that. Like, they get math and defend this one choke point here, and then they use naval dominance and win. My naval access sucks. But thanks to Philo Rush, I was able to win this otherwise terrible spawn. So I'll go ahead and cut to the next match now. Alright, so this one, using the classic Zabasi Philo Rush. And this time you'll see my resources are really good. So it makes sense to commit to the Philo Rush here. And you'll again see this working out. Like, my resources are really good, but you'll see the rest of my spawn pretty quickly. Won't exactly be ideal, but I commit to it right now. I will say that is one pretty big downside of Philo Rush, is how early you have to commit to it. If you could accurately evaluate the spawn before picking Philo Rush or not picking Philo Rush, then it would be much easier to decide. Because this isn't something you want to do every game. If I haven't made that clear already, do not do this every game. It will not work every time. Some maps simply don't allow it to work. Sometimes you'll just lose anyway. That's how Polytopia is sometimes. But sometimes philosophy can actually help you maximize your chances. Like in this case, I've got a nice block of 4 cities. However, where's my other cities? And a little spoiler, this is what I'm going to have to work with for the entire game. On a normal lakes once again, the opponent is going to have the rest of the map. And the map just generated that way. I didn't have access to any more. I could have maybe gone one more city, but it was hard to reach. But yeah, this is what I have to work with. And on turn 9, Philo construction riding roads by a ton of techs all the way to trade before capturing my 3rd city, which yes, very slow expansion, but slight justification to it. I will say I didn't play this game very well. There's some pretty obvious mistakes I made, but I played well enough to do some things. Like here, for example, I make a bit of a mistake. I shouldn't have leveled this up right away, and I kind of realized right after. It seems like a great idea, because you get your giant really soon, but you can't border growth this if you upgrade it now. I would love to take away these port spots, have them for myself, but by doing this, I have to pop growth. You'll see why later. It has to do with my market spots, which I planned well in advance, before I made this upgrade, which is why I realized it was really stupid. Though, maybe you can argue the pop growth is worth it here to get my markets going faster, which, maybe. Maybe this wasn't actually a misplay, in retrospect. At the moment, I thought it was a misplay, though. But we'll kind of see how things go. My economy's not off to the fastest start. I get an explorer here to get some vision. One benefit of expanding slowly is you can get an explorer like this and it doesn't feel like you've slowed your eco at all. But yeah, thanks to my good resources, I can get 2 really fast level 4 markets. That's why Philo Rush makes sense with this kind of spawn. Then I get forestry to chop, because I want this market spot, and now you can kind of see my markets outlined here. Going windmill, then I already have these 3 markets. Then I'm going to, I believe, windmill, and then I don't actually remember exactly what I did here. I guess we'll see. This game I literally just played a few hours ago. I'm surprised I already forgot what I did with markets here. And yeah, one mistake, I placed this way too late. I was indecisive about how to market this city specifically because it's not as obvious. But I kind of realized, I don't need this tile, or these tiles, or this tile. So I'll just put it here. Which if I realized that earlier, that would have been really nice. But I didn't. Oh yeah, this is why. I placed the market here. Now I remember. So yeah, market here, windmill here, and then, of course, a windmill here as well. Everything's nice and beautiful. And my markets are going to be really high level. You're probably going to see some of the most absurd eco on 4 cities, possibly ever. With only 4 cities, and it still gets better. I already have 42 star per turn. That is over 10 star per turn per city, but it is going to get even crazier. Because I'm going to develop even more. This city isn't even at level 5 yet. Not even level 4, no border growth there yet. But it keeps going up. 47 star per turn. 48. 50. 51. 53, 54. How much is that per city? That's a lot per city. 54 divided by 4, that's 13 and a half. That's a lot per city. And keeping in mind, these techs are cheap. 11 for a tier 3 tech and 8 for a tier 2. And I have 54 star per turn. They have their markets though. This is one downside of Philosophy Rush that's very notable. You don't interact with the opponent, that also means that they don't interact with you. And if the opponent simply develops more by having more cities, they win the game. Now again, what you kind of notice is they have a lot of map access, so they can get a lot of markets. But they were slower to get them. I've already maxed out my markets, but their markets are still pretty good. I get sailing and I see a vulnerable city. I might be able to just snag this, and then I'll have 5 cities to however much they have. And every bit of progress matters a lot. I also do a little sneaky mindbender trap if they don't have vision here. They lose a giant, just straight up, which is really punishing. They have Eye of God, but they don't actually have vision here. They just happen to have all the lighthouses, and then now they lose a giant. I also cloak here, which is a little risky. My idea was to get it in a port and then connect here, but then they get a giant, which kind of makes that not work because they'll just put their giant in a port to prevent this idea. Which, yeah, they might not see it, but I'm not going to risk it. I mind bend the giant, siege there. They can unsiege, but I'll also be able to re-siege either with like bomber or just a scout and a juggernaut. I get cloaks here, so if they somehow unsiege with a giant, then I can cloak them and inevitably just rip this city away from them. And every city counts when my eco is completely maxed out like this. Like, obviously it's not completely maxed out, but it's like 90% of the way there. Maybe even more than 90%, like 95% of the way there. They just missed this cloak. I thought it was kind of obvious that like I play support here and I move my cloak afterwards, but they didn't quite get the memo. They're also just, they want to shoot this mindbender for some reason. I have another mindbender, I can heal it. Heal the mindbender with the mindbender, I know. Super meta stuff right now. And yeah, I'm able to, now I'm just winning the city for good. And as soon as you get one city, it cascades. It doesn't matter if it doesn't look like the city's gonna do much, because it will do something. And so now I get a giant, and I've got a defender here. I'm ready to just put this in a port, get a bomber, and then ask them, what are you going to do with these giants? Do you move them away? Allow my knight to do something? Allow my cloaks to connect? Do you keep them here? Let my bombers shred them up? What are you gonna do? I've got cloaks over here. What are you gonna do about it? I'm asking all these questions, and a really good player might be able to answer them, but it's not easy. And if they don't answer it, they're gonna lose, despite their entire advantage that they built up the whole game. And now I'm gonna get more giants. I've also got almost the entire tech tree at this point. And if I want a free monument, I can get all the techs. They get more giants. They somehow miss my cloak twice. This cloak I put here just to explore. I wasn't actually expecting this to get this far. But now I can actually get some cloak value. It's pretty neato. So I get aquatism, archery, so that cloak gets some extra juicy value. Heal more with the mindbenders, and then I get spiritualism pre-cap, which now shows why this matters so much, is I can plant trees, get a border growth, get a super disgusting market, pop a bunch of giants, and this is a problem for them. And if we look at score, what the heck, I'm way ahead. Yeah, my 22 techs might have something to do with that. Also, this is turn 18. I only have 5 kills. That's really funny. Like, 18 turns on a normal map, and we just haven't fought each other that much. But yeah, I got even more cloaks. They get some bombers, and they're able to defend for now. And you might actually see they resign. Yeah, they resign. Why do they resign here, though? I have only 5 cities. But again, when you take one city, the momentum just shifts like crazy. I kind of got a little lucky that having access to the rest of the map didn't mean much when Thanks Lakes. They just didn't have anything there. But I mean, before I captured this, this was their city, so this would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I had half the city count. And again, let's look at the beginning. Let's turn this fog off. Look at the beginning. I am stuck on 4 cities, maybe 5 if I can get this, but I have to get sailing or take a really long journey around. Or journey by land, which also takes a long time. So like maybe I get that. And then the opponent definitely gets this, all of these definitely going to the opponent. So they've got an easy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 to my at best 5, maybe even 4. But because I rushed Philo and I complicated things that way, the opponent made some mistakes, and we can even kind of see, like, yeah, they developed their eco, but they have about the same eco as me on double the cities. Look at their tech prices. This is really, really hard for them to actually win. In fact, I might even be willing to wager I'm already winning here. They already messed up. Or maybe this was actually just such a good spawn, despite me being laked and cut off of the map, that maybe just Philo Rush is that good, which, I don't know. Philo Rush can be a little, like, high risk, high reward, I found on these, like, map types. I haven't played this enough to really know how things work for sure, but I think you guys should give this a try when you see the opportunity to, of course. When you see good resources and a possibility of getting laked, try out Philo Rush. See how it works out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like and sub. And have a good one.